Hello and welcome, people of the Cosmos Symphonia, to my latest video. Been quite busy for a while, not going to make excuses, but I'm back at it now. This is a quick explanation video on the theory of magnesis, which I would like to claim responsibility for. But as far as I know, this was stumbled across a couple hundred years ago and buried and forgotten about. So this is my attempt to reintroduce it to the world, and I think if it had been present in the world from that point and not removed out of fear, then we would have had a completely different science system now, and we probably wouldn't have ended up with such destructive capabilities as nuclear weapons and the like, because this provides us with a pure understanding of matter, energy, physicality and spirituality, and the interaction of all these things. So first things first, what is magnesis? Magnesis, obviously I've referenced a lot of times, talked about this base knowledge or this base understanding that a lot of my research works off of and around. And I mean, a lot of people, especially the more educated people in the world, probably hear that word and think, what the hell, this guy's just making stuff up. And yes, I literally am just making stuff up, because that's where all the good science comes from. No, I'm not inventing this science myself. It's obviously there, observable. I'm just putting a label on it, magnesis. And I say magnesis because magnets are the most clearly observable process, or the most clearly observable example of this process, which is the interaction of energy fields coming from particles or that are radiant to particles. Say this is a particle, the energy field around it interacting with another energy field here, and the greater energy field around the two of them, all of that's magnesis. So for the visual explanations, there's small visual representatives that you will have seen a lot around in the world today. Here's one of the first ones. This is magnesis. So we've got the particles here, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, 1 dot, alright, and then we've got this one in the middle, 7 dots. And then the interaction of these 7 dots and the fields around them are creating physicality in the middle, and energy fields around them, which then creates a greater energy field around this now whole piece of matter that's not made up of 7 parts, it's now made up of a whole part. And this is the radiant energy field. And so if you were to go down to a smaller and smaller level of this, you would at some point find this. But how this would be represented is, I think, they're quarks or something, and they're up triangles and down triangles. And this is why I've put a lot of basis of triangles in there, because this is the unlocking map and the unwinding code to matter and energy itself. So you don't have to be a caveman like Einstein and hit the atom with a really big stick and crack it in half and see what comes out. You can literally, at your own pace, unscrew the pieces and see how this infinite puzzle comes apart without damaging yourself or anybody around you. And a lot of people, obviously, because of the nature of humanity, will be like, oh, you can't do that, everything's dangerous, it's equivalent exchange, you got to give something to gain something. And no, you idiots. Well, everything comes from nothing. And I'm not even bothered if you're offended by the fact I'm saying you're idiots, because if you believe that to gain something you have to give something, you're a moron. Because everything in existence comes from nothing. And nothing was lost for us to gain this infinite something from the nothing, except nothing itself. And even then, nothing is still here. It's just in between all the somethings. And so the idea that you cannot make something from nothing is the limitation that we've set upon ourselves and that we force upon each other now. Because we fear to tread into the domain of God, when it is simply put and stated that mankind was created in the image, that we are meant to attain learning and attain ability, and that we are meant to grow and reach level where we can create something from nothing. And this is the understanding that the world keeps rejecting, that to be made from something, or out of something, or with something, means that you are, in direct proportion to its essence, a fragment of it. And if that said thing is infinite, then you are no less. Enough of my ramblings. So some more visual representations, just for the slow kids, or the distracted ones, which is me normally. Normally in class, if teachers were talking, I was talking louder, because what you're saying doesn't matter. Most of it's not even verified, except if it's English, and then it's fun. Maths is self-defeating, science is self-defeating, PE is bullshit. What was it? And then like all the rest of it's just like training you for a job, and I'm training myself for a job, which is to be overlord of plebs. No, I'm joking. That's just okay. So magnets, magnesis. Here's a magnet. Here's a magnet. Two energy fields interacting, causes a reaction. Congratulations, we now understand magnets. Woo. But that's why it's called magnesis, because magnets are and were the first observable point of magnesis. Because before we realized that magnets had energy fields, we wouldn't have even acknowledged that the human body had an energy field, or that a tree had an energy field, or that anything else in creation has an energy field, because it wasn't observable. And if we can't see it, it doesn't exist, because we're that arrogant. If we don't know about it, it's not real, because we're that fucking arrogant. And that's the nature of mankind. But the nature of mankind is also to grow. So if we can, for a moment, get past our arrogance, then we can learn, we can grow, and we can become more. Or you can be arrogant and that can just ruin your life, which is really fun too. Because like, for somebody that has nothing and is nothing, to completely destroy anyone would be pathetic. So, yeah, game on to anybody that wants to be like, because like I got information for days, and most of this doesn't even come out of books. It just so happens that when I research it, it's right. So it's like you versus whatever the fuck infinite's plugged into the back of my head. Game on. I don't even play. I'm just trying to get this information that I think is useful out to everyone. But yeah, human interaction, human energy field, what I call like a biofield, or a neural field, or a biomagnetic field, or an auric field, however you want to describe it. Human body releases many different types of energy. One of these many things are photons, which enable telepathic and telekinetic interaction. These things are measurable. If somebody was, just perchance, paranoid about witches messing with their life, you could create a device that would measure the photons and the many energy waves that move from a person to another person, and you could prove that this person is manipulating energy, and this person is manipulating some sort of wave that comes from the brain, interacts with your neural field. That I think if somebody had strong enough neural field and training of how to use it, that they would be able to interact with other people's neural fields. And this is the basis of the knowledge of telepathic communication and psychics in general. Picking up magnesis is how psychics work. So they pick up energy and information that's stored in the energy fields around them and in the energy fields of other people, and they process that directly as light, as data, like a computer would, and it translates into their brain as information. And because of this lack of information here, we believe it's not real. We believe that it's not possible. Whether or not it's real is still be proven, but we believe it's not possible. This explains how it could be possible on a scientific scale. Also, another example of magnesis is gravity, the very observable example of magnesis. We've got planets and a sun and all this other stuff and moons, and each field of gravity interacts with another field of gravity, causing the expansion or contraction of the universe. And I put it to you as an argument that this is actually the how the universe works. I figured it out. No, I beat ya. The universe works off of this constant interaction. Like everything holds everything together, and the energy interaction, both on a human, animal, ecological, planetary, everything, galactic, how many scales you want to look at it, how many levels you want to look at it on, all the interactions affect each other and affect the expansion and contraction of this universe that we're in, being one giant bioorganism that is cosmos, that is probably attached to an even bigger one that we can't observe right now. And this is, again, you go down to smaller, you've got things like these things, I forget what they're called again, but yeah, they have like each tiny little point of matter has an energy field around it, obviously. So this would be represented best, again, by overlapping something like this on top of this, and it explains to you the magnesis process that holds together matter, atoms, and whatever you have. Also, we've got, what was this one again? Oh, that one's the same as that, but supposed to be with the circles around it and stuff. And then here you've got a base explanation of magnesis without the example. So energy field A interacts with energy field B, creating in between energy field C. Alright? The larger energy field F is the general effect that is observable in reality. And then D and E are also secondary and tertiary effects of the interactions of the two energy fields. So there's direct interaction, and then there's semi-interaction. And D and E possibly have the same effects, but sometimes not. And F, the reaction for F in the case of all these things, it would be physicality, matter. And so all it is just energy, sound, light, all these things kind of swirling around each other to the point where they kind of pull each other in, condense, and bam, physical. And that in any single physical piece of matter, there's an almost infinite amount of energy stored. You just need to know how to rearrange the pattern and reach into the lock point that keeps it in physicality and kind of rearrange it into energy. And same thing goes with energy into matter. With this understanding, you should be able to layer ambient energy into physical energy, so a power source. And then if you're smart enough again, you can layer that power source down into matter. So you can start not just needing matter, you can start getting to the point where we don't need matter to create energy. We can create energy from nothing, and then we can create matter from that energy. So it kind of enables the start of the golden age of technology, this understanding. But it's only if you truly understand it and you give it time to unfold like a lotus. You give it time to bloom and actually give it a moment to understand what the fuck I'm saying, instead of just assuming that I'm uneducated or that I don't know what I'm talking about. Because if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's probably just because you don't know what I'm talking about, not because I'm not making sense. And I say that from a point of no ego, because I don't think that I'm smarter than other people. I just make sure that when I do get to this point of being confident, that there's a reason for me being confident and that it's constructive. I just sometimes I do it a bit what's the word? Abrasively. I can be a bit rude, but that's my nature. Sorry.